you could have probably like plus minus 300 of your power if you're 2400 or less. And if you're 2700 or so, you could have plus minus 300 in like 5 minutes. Just have it be an optional thing. Like, just have it be an optional thing. Longer queue times to have closer to your power. If you want to wait, then you can select that as an option. If you don't, then just queue normally. The queues can interact with each other. It's really easy. Like, there you go. Just make it optional for the people who give a fuck about ranked. I don't know, it's like... I can sit here and point, like, yeah, here's how to fix the top rank of the game, but that ignores the fact that the other fucking ranks in the game are also completely shit. Like, yeah, they rank people up, and maybe that feels good, but they don't actually teach people how to play the fucking game. Which is why you have Timmys and fucking Rank X running in with the curling bomb and splashdowning the zone. Like, you just genuinely can't. Overwatch will have DPS players wait literal, like, half an hour to get good games. And those players will do it. They won't like it, but they'll do it. Overwatch is an example of doing it too far. Like, you have to wait too fucking long. But I just want to say, like, 2 minutes compared to that is, like, nothing. But for complete casuals who just want to play a game, they don't like it, which is why Overwatch is fucking quick play. For people who just want to play the game, and competitive separately. But this game doesn't have it separately. Ranked isn't actually separate. Turf War has its own ranking system. It's not unranked. The flags work as a ranking system. They just wanted to separate ranked battles and Turf War. Which, fine, they're kind of different because Turf War doesn't have the same kind of objective. It's just focused on the overall map control, which is fine. But it's still ranked. It's just two different ranks. It's just Turf War doesn't tell people it has a rank system, so people don't give a fuck. Because they don't know what's there. It's really hard to give a shit about a rating if it doesn't exist in your mind. If you don't know it's real, you can't complain about it. I know why Nintendo doesn't want a quick play. Very simple. It's because they don't want to split the queues and have it take longer. The only thing they give a fuck about is, like, have the casuals feel good and have the ranking system be fast. Like, having a ranking system where you can level up 33% of the time should feel unsatisfying and unearned. But because people don't know that's how it is, they think they just did good enough and feel rewarded. Even though they're just being babied by the game. They don't give a fuck because they don't know about it. Even if they did, a lot of them probably wouldn't care anyway. Nintendo doesn't give a fuck about competitive aspects. Like, it's not just tournaments and stuff. They do the bare minimum in their ranking systems, too. The tourney mode in Smash is bare bones, the net play is bare bones. The actual rank system itself is bare bones. Like, they don't give a fuck about competitive in all aspects, not just tournaments. They don't give a fuck about their rank systems. They don't give a fuck about their online being good. If it's good enough so casuals won't complain about it, or just people in general, then why the fuck would they care? They're satisfied with just having the majority of people play their game and not giving a fuck about the most die-hard fans or people who want the game to be better than just good. Solo was good in the first game. Yeah, it was. But that's because the first game was kind of rushed. And kind of a beta test for a lot of things. So there wasn't really a need to, like, have a complicated haha rank system. Just throw all the modes into a rank system and give it an objective plus or minus based on where you are. It's a really simple rank system. It's a good one, but it was used because it's just simple. It's not hard to program that into the game. It's not hard to use it. I have to rush the slosher, but I literally can't. Bro. This roller just doesn't like tower, I guess. Even though he's the only one near it. But yeah, I'm not saying, like, the casuals aren't important to complain to. Like, of course, they're like 99% of their player base. Like, of course they should give a fuck about them. But they can give a fuck about them and not neglect their competitive side. And then the competitive side will help more people get into the scene and be casuals. That's how it works in other games. Competitive isn't ignored because people watch competitive and are like, oh, this game looks cool. I mean, look at the Squid House. You had a bunch of Smash players trying the game and some top popular Smash streamers trying the game because it looked cool at a competitive level. But Nintendo thinks people will, like, look at competitive and be like, oh god, they're so good, we can never be like that. So, fuck this game, I don't want to play it because I'll just never be as good as those people. Which, I mean, like, okay. Don't really know what to tell those people. There's probably, like, 3 of them on planet Earth that exist. But the majority of people see comp play and are like, yeah, that looks cool. I played fucking Smash Ultimate half the time because I saw a comp player do something cool because I watch comp. I enjoy watching comp Smash more than I do playing it. If Melee was on the fucking... If Melee was on the Switch and I didn't know about comp Melee, I would never buy it. But because I watch it, if it was on the Switch for $30, I would probably fucking buy it. Hell, I'd probably buy it for $60. Because I think it would be more fun to play than Smash Ultimate. But I wouldn't know that game exists without the competitive scene. Because it's a fucking 20-year-old game. It's not alive most places besides competitive. And competitive is just where that game looks the coolest. And I'm not saying there's like everyone at Nintendo. Like, Splat devs give a fuck about their game competitively. Like, Nogami supports their fucking tournaments in Japan and stuff and attends them. He gives a shit. Sakurai literally mentioned competitive tournaments in his direct. That's not a fucking coincidence. He literally mentioned tournament players. Like, he acknowledged tournament players and frame data. Even during this time of controversy. So it's not everyone, it's just a few people at Nintendo. It's the executives who actually make the decisions. That's how companies are. The director of Smash doesn't get to choose how they do competitive. Hell, he doesn't even get to choose the characters for DLC anymore. Nintendo gives him the list and he just probably does them. But he talked about with Minecraft Steve. Not that Minecraft Steve is a bad addition. But it's not just his choice because he's the game director to do whatever the fuck he wants with the game. And actually during Championships or what got me into... Yeah, like, E3 got a ton of people into the fucking game. Comp still gets a lot of people into the game. And then those people who get into the game make Nintendo money. Because they buy their fucking game. I'm not a fan of loot boxes and stuff, but they could have skins and charge for it to help support comp. And that's fine, because it's an optional thing that gives no advantage. I mean, we could put up with the system, but, like, how long is a comp scene going to last without support? Like, I don't think you understand. People play this game because they like the game. The game is just so good that even with a lack of incentive, people still play it competitively and give a fuck about it. Because the game's just that fucking good. Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 are legitimately some of the best designed shooters out there. I'm not even saying that to be biased. in terms of, like, competitive play, Splatoon 1 has an incredibly fun and unique play style, while Splatoon 2 has an incredible amount of diversity in what works. Not saying these are aspects on their own, but it's that combined with unique map, like, unique controls in terms of mechanics, varying different gameplay, like, etc. There's a fuck ton of things that other shooters just don't have. Like, you can quit Splatoon and go to another shooter, but there's gonna be a fuck ton of things you're just not going to find anywhere else. Oh, a lot of competitive players would probably love to try it, but, like, they're gonna fucking have to play, like, with this fucking netcode. The game just looks childish, and it doesn't get presented as competitive because Nintendo doesn't support competitive. The most people saw the Splatoon competitive scene was the Squid House, and everyone who watched it fucking loved it. E3, when Smash people watch it, they fucking love it. When you get people from other scenes to watch this game, they genuinely enjoy it. Even though they barely understand what the fuck is going on, they enjoy it. You want to talk about other strengths? Splatoon is a great esport in terms of spectator sports. It is very easy to figure out what the fuck is happening. I can open up the map this amount of time, and I can tell you everywhere, and you can know everywhere, that each team can exist. Because it's just colors on the map. The objective is incredibly easy to follow. The UI at the top is informative, especially in Spectator. You can get any kind of info whenever you want, really fucking easily. And that's great, because if you want people to watch it, they need to understand what the fuck is going on. Even some other major esports like League of Legends have that issue, where you just look at the game if you've never seen it and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? This game, it's just like, the colors are where they can stand. There's this objective at the top where the further lower the number gets, the further it is. The team is winning. If they get it all the way, the game ends early and they win. There's 5 minutes to get the most points. You build specials by painting the map. These specials can help use to win fights. You can kill people, of course, because it's a fucking shooter. Like, there you go. That's like a paragraph, and you can probably watch the game with that information and know what's going on. Yeah, motion controls is fucking great. Like, Splatoon is a good game. But, like, why get in a comp when I can play Overwatch? Which, for the longest time, has had horrible balance patches. Overwatch had a meta where there was no DPS character that was good for the most part for over a year. And there were teams practicing that shitty meta that they hated for 8 hours a day, every day. Imagine that. But they still did it because the scene's actually supportive. So who cares? They still make a paycheck and get popular and can make money. So who gives a fuck? You need way less incentive to play a game like this competitively. Yeah, it's like if you play competitively, it's like you better like this game, because regardless of competitive or not, you're playing it because you enjoy it. I personally don't enjoy playing this game casually. Well, not don't enjoy it, I still enjoy it, but comp is way more fun. I like playing this game competitively, so I don't want to play it casually because playing competitive is more fun. That's it. If I didn't enjoy playing competitive, I wouldn't play it. If I didn't have the time to do it, which maybe someday I won't, I wouldn't do it. If there was another game that I picked up and liked just as much and got good in, but it had actual worthwhile investments, I would just play that game instead. Especially now that I'm an adult now who's gonna need to make his own money. Gaming's a hobby, but competitive gaming is something that people want to be able to do to make a money. Because if you're gonna be competitive something, It's going to require time, and especially if you're good. Like, if you're good in a competitive game, to maintain that level of play, for most people, requires a lot of time. And if you're putting in that time to get nothing, then it's a huge waste of time to some people. I have the time right now. Alright, now, but I don't know if I will in the future. Other games where they can make money from it, it's like, yeah, it's worth this amount of time because I can make amount of money from it. Maybe it's not a full-time job, but maybe it's like helps you pay your bills. Maybe you make a small amount of money for spending. I don't fucking know. I have been a competitive player and a top-level player in this game for like 3 years. I think I've made maybe 10K. In terms of like, not just money prizes, like in terms of just how much each of the prizes I've got was worth. And that, even that is misleading, because it's heavily boosted by some smaller events. Bit of sponsor help. The Squid House was a whole like 930 of it. PAX was 2,500 in terms of expenses. That figure is inflated by several smaller events. It's not consistent. You have to be literally winning everything to make a decent amount of money.